What are today's top talent leaders doing to be different? That's the question we set out to answer at the Recruiting Innovation Summit. For 2 days, we podcasted live at the Chatterworks booth to ask the question, what are you doing different? This is the Talent Shift.
It's William Tincup and Ryan Leary and Glenn Cathy.
Mr. Glenn Cathy, what's going on, brother?
This conference, I'm excited to be here. I've had so many energizing conversations. It's mind-blowing, actually.
You went to the original SourceCon, yeah?
Actually, the second one. I missed the first one.
I went to the first two.
Nice.
Back when Rob and Leslie. So, yeah, Rob calls me out of nowhere and just says, hey, I want you to go to this thing in Atlanta. I had a ton of airline miles. So I'm like, okay, what's it about? He's like, sourcing. I'm like, I have no idea what that is. But sure, I'm in. I'm down to go to Atlanta. And so I just so happened to go to the show. And of course, they're all hacking, doing all that crazy stuff. And I'm like, oh, these people are insane. I like them. I like this.
It was a special breed.
I was used to dealing with HR people. So all of a sudden, you got all these people hacking stuff. I'm like, ooh, I like these people.
It's
so
definitely a different community. Yeah.
They like to break stuff. Turns out.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Yeah.
All right, you did the opening keynote this morning, and everyone's raved about it. Everyone that we've had on the show. So why don't you give the audience a little taste of kind of your take?
All right. I'll try to narrow down, I guess, 45 minutes of talking and maybe a minute or two.
Yeah.
I really wanted to set the stage to help people fully appreciate what AI is capable of doing today and likely capable of doing tomorrow. As a human, I want to preserve humans in the workplace as well, but I also have to recognize the capabilities of some of these solutions. And I felt that it was important to tell people, like, here's where we're at. I did ask some provocative questions like, what makes you so special as a human being? Like, and then I disabused people to say, yeah, and I'm a human too, right? So I recognize it's kind of strange that AI is better than I am at many things.
Right.
And if you understand and embrace that, then you can start to figure out, okay, well, what does that mean? So I asked people lots of questions so that you can figure out, how do you evolve from here? Like, what role do you play? And I think one of my personal highlights is I recorded myself having a conversation with ChatGPT 4.0 with advanced voice mode, and I had it play the role of a recruiter, and I was a passive candidate that was really just trying to get off the phone, like not engaged. And so, I think I threw 3 or 4 really rough objections in there.
Yeah.
And
this really isn't a good time with me. We're having a baby.
I literally didn't answer any of the questions. And I even felt, and this is funny, I felt rude doing that, even recording it.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, right? Because you're like, well, it's AI, but we're as human beings, you get asked a question, there's the obligation to answer. But it was just a single prompt that I set up, and it did a fantastic job. I'd say expert level in terms of how it was positive. It recognized my objections and moved on, asked me another question, did a really good job of controlling the conversation.
Wow.
And I just wanted to demonstrate, I'm like, this is what we could be, you could say up against, but you can also say, well, why wouldn't we partner with that? Why don't we lean into, if it's good at it, well, then let's give it the task that it's good at, and then figure out, well, what tasks do we take over and own moving forward?
There's plenty.
I'd say that's probably it.
Now,
in a nutshell.
We did not get a chance to sit in on it. What was the reaction?
I'd say I got good.
I want a scorecard. Give yourself a grade.
In general, in the audience, it's always hard to read an audience, but I felt it was good. I had lots of people taking pictures of most of the slides. I will say after the fact, many people have come up to me and I don't think they were just being nice. They were like, that was very thoughtful. It was super helpful. And I'm like, that's good, because that's the whole point of doing these things is getting people to think differently, go back.
That's right.
Make things, changes themselves, changes their teams, et cetera. So that was good. But I'd say there were that video recording was an interesting one, because I said, how do you think it did? And everyone the audience was like, that was better than I expected. That was kind of surprising.
It was in that moment they realized, shit.
Yeah.
I'm out of a job next year.
We're already there. Like, people are talking about AI in the future. It's like, no. You showed them. No,
Well, I just wanted to show exactly how capable it is and how human it can be in terms of reading, being
Mhm.
emotionally aware, having
Right.
empathy, being persuasive, things that most people are like, well, that's the human part of recruiting. And like,
Mhm.
that's what I question is like, what is the value you provide
right.
as a human in recruiting? And again, I'm not saying the humans won't be doing it in the future. I'm just saying it's a wake up call that AI is actually surprisingly good already. And if you weren't impressed by that, all you have to do is wait 6 months and it's just going to get better to the
Turns
point
out
where
it's just getting
Right.
smarter.
incredibly smart. There was also one moment where I was setting the stage around AI enabled solutions in our space, and we're talking about human in the loop. And I said, who said that the human in the loop has to be you?
yeah.
Could be the hiring manager,
Right.
Mhm.
right? So some of the solutions that we use today that are tailored towards recruiting actually could be just self-serve through a hiring manager.
100%.
And I was chatting with another guy who confirmed that when I said that, like I let it hang for a minute. Everyone was like, oh, it's kind of an interesting thing to think about because as a recruiter or a sourcer, you're
Yeah.
kind of the center of the universe. You're using these tools. And they're like, well, what if we don't need you using these tools? Because the tools could actually work agentically with a hiring manager and ask the same questions you would, even be somewhat of a talent advisor like you would.
Mhm.
It's all in how they're configured. And if you just prompt these things properly, it'll have a really consultative conversation and have an intake and help
What a-
calibrate and do all the things a good recruiter would do.
Yeah.
Ryan taught me this this bit with ChatGPT-4 in particular is at the end of whatever your bit was, go back and say, what prompt or questions should I have asked that I didn't?
Yeah.
And it'll tell you.
Yeah.
So it's wonderful. I'll tell you one thing that I love about your speaking. We didn't get to say it, but I've seen you a number of times through the years. Is you're curious. I can tell that a lot of this stems from your own curiosity, but you're trying to get people to think. Just like I'm okay, I'll be entertaining. I might even be inspirational, but I want you to just question some of the things you're doing and why you're doing them and how you do them, et cetera, et cetera. Like, I want you to go home, maybe on the flight. I want you to think. If you think, even if you disagree, that's fine.
Yep.
As long as you think. So I've always loved that about you.
I appreciate that. I mean, I'd say that that's what I've always wanted to do. I tend to actually ask more questions than share information.
Right.
Because I need people to ask me questions to make me think. It's one thing to hear someone's opinion. It's another.
You're
to
like
say,
AI.
Well, I could be programmed to ask you questions
Right.
as follow-ups.
Right.
But I feel like if anyone is going to, I think the benefit of coming to an event like this, even for me and everybody, is I want to go away thinking about things that I wasn't thinking about before I came here. There's a benefit to coming to an event that if I sit at my desk and I'm doing my work, I would never have these interactions. I would never even thinking about the things I'm already thinking about just in a day and a half already. There's so much value in that. From the presentations to the discussions, I need to go back enriched and be challenged by other people's ideas and what they're doing. That's invaluable.
Yeah.
You preempted the question I was going to ask you was, you're at Recruiting Innovation Summit. What do you expect to get out of it? Which is a little bit different. So already answered a lot of that, but what do you, like, you have some expectation. What would that be? You're on the plane ride back to Tampa.
In addition to what I said, I would say, and this is true, probably more true than ever, is some of the solution providers here that I've chatted with already. I've been very intentional.
Right.
Some years I don't really engage anybody because I'm talking to the people going to sessions. Today I spent time dedicated. I'm like, I'm not going to go to sessions. I'm going to talk to some of these providers. And already there's a few that I probably would never have found on my own.
Right.
Just by doing research. And this is being very transparent and honest. There's at least two that we're probably going to end up doing some work with just as a result of being here. And I wouldn't have known of them had I not come here. I mean, the space is so crowded.
Yeah.
You do Google searches.
Noisy.
You don't find all of them. Nobody. It's like scratching the surface. It's difficult.
Yeah.
So there is value in, and this is my call to other people that come to these types of events, is that don't avoid, and I'm not doing it to plug anybody. I'm literally benefiting myself on saying, trust me, talk to some of these solution providers. You'll be surprised at what they can do and how they might be able to help you.
My bit with practitioners for years is take off your name badge. Start in a corner, and
You
just
just
work
go.
your way up and just say, what do you do? What problem do you solve? And let them do their bit.
Yeah.
And then just move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Be curious.
What's the big thing that you're looking for when you're talking to these vendors right now? What's impressing you?
Well, I have to say, there's two things that are top of mind for me and some of the parts of the organization that I serve right now. One is automating outbound sourcing, and the other is finding solutions around assessment and interviewing that are AI cheat proof.
Right.
But I also want to say that's a really interesting rabbit hole we can go down. It's like, is it really cheating? You have to have a policy to determine whether it's actually, you need to redesign your processes so that I feel like some things you shouldn't use AI on, because I need to figure out who are you unaided. But then also, like, if I'm going to expect you to use AI on the job, then I should probably have a portion of that during the assessment
That I want
well.
you to know.
So people have to really rethink that whole process. But
larger companies are going to go through legal. It's going to be it'll take years.
It will unfortunately take a while.
Yeah.
But there's an arms race between candidates using AI, and 100%. I don't blame them for using it.
Not at all.
I can understand what it's like to be looking for a job, and I need any advantage I can get. And if a company doesn't have a policy, then it's actually on you for not specifying what you can and cannot do.
Right. Jerry said earlier, last question, Jerry said earlier that candidates are miles ahead of AI adoption than corporate. And Brian and I were like, Okay, let's play with that for a little bit. What do you believe that? You think they're miles ahead?
It was my back pocket.
That's interesting. I want to say yes.
Yeah.
It's hard to generalize on a large population, but I want to say yes, primarily based on need.
Yeah, good point.
Because and
they have time.
Yes. So when you're looking for work, my daughter is graduating college. She's looking for work, and anybody who's done that, it's a grind. It's not fun.
No, never.
Some of the things that were bad 20 years ago are still bad today.
Still the same bad things.
It's kind of embarrassing. Yeah, because she knows the industry I'm in, and I almost had to apologize on behalf of
Dad. Why haven't you fixed it?
Yeah,
I'm like, this is
they didn't email me back, or the mobile. I can't apply on mobile,
or the forms making me fill out these stupid things and pick lists, and I can't type ahead. It's really I can't believe that these things still exist.
Yeah, same. My daughter's 17, same thing. She will not apply if she has to do a resume or she has to do it has to be a boom, boom, and done. All right.
Yeah.
Final question. No, you said final question.
Final question from me.
Scenario. William, we'll say he's 22 years old.
Okay.
You're interviewing him.
Yeah. In-person interview.
In-person interview. He's in your office. You're sitting there. You've already shaken his hand. You're sat down or whatever. And you're talking. He picks up his phone and just starts texting somebody in the middle of the interview. Okay. What do you do?
I would probably be surprised first. I would remain calm.
Sounds like a fire drill.
Remain
calm.
Depending on how long it takes them to do whatever they're doing, I might say, is everything okay? That'd probably be my first response, because what happens if, I have a family situation. If it's my mom, she might have fallen. I give people grace. I don't know. Hopefully it's not their, something irrelevant, but I'd probably do that just to say and kind of set the stage.
What if you didn't know what they were doing on their phone, but they were just doing stuff saying, yeah, totally understand. Here's how I'd solve that problem. And they're with you. Okay. But they are doing other things, whatever that may be.
I might actually say, hey, that's interesting. You're the first person that during interviews actually, use their device. Most people don't pick up a device because then I don't know what you're doing with it. Do you mind looping me in? Like, what are you doing? Do you mind?
See, that's the curiosity that he has. Yeah. No one's done that bit. They've either been, they're not getting a job.
But they could be taking notes.
They could be.
And usually I tell people though, because I was speaking to somebody and I pick up my phone and I know what it's like to be on the receiving end of somebody picking up their phone, because if they're distracted, I feel that's disrespectful.
Right.
But I will usually say, hey, I'm just taking notes, so they know that I'm not looking away while they're talking to me and just ignoring them or responding to my mom's text or something.
Right.
It could be notes. I actually don't want to judge. And I'm not trying to be some awesome guy in that regard. It's just like, I don't know. So I'd rather default
give the benefit of the doubt.
Benefit of the doubt, and let's just kind of feel it out. But hopefully.
Is that a win for each of us?
Yeah,
that's a tie.
It's in the middle.
That's a tie.
It's in the middle.
I'm of the mindset that this generation has always had phones.
Default behavior.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're asking them to do an unnatural act.
I could see that.
And so why would you judge them based on your belief system and social norms that you have growing up? Like, Ryan said this to me before, so we'll use him. He's like, that's disrespectful. It's just blatant disrespectful. I'm not going to hire him.
In the interview, not if we're just talking, like but in an interview, I think there's a formality.
Ryan, even when you're talking, it's in the interview. You know this as well as I do.
Life is an interview.
Yeah. Exactly. The game is being played. No, the game is being played.
But I see what you're saying. I agree with the undivided attention. You should expect that. But you could also say, is that an old-fashioned norm?
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
I don't mind looking at that, but...
Get off my lawn.
Okay, I could see that.
Yeah.
I do want to say that I'm sorry, I have to mention this story. I was at breakfast with my daughter the other day, and we looked over, and there was a couple at a table. We're at a Waffle House. And there was a man and a woman, and they were both looking at their phones.
100%.
And what I just looked over, and I just showed her, and she uses her phone. She's 15, right?
Yeah.
She uses it, I would say, less than most.
Right.
But she's still on it. But I just wanted to say, look, I'm like, what do you think of that? She's like, that's kind of sad. And it was nice. At least she recognized that.
Yeah.
People pick up phones, but...
Or she knew to give you the answer that you'd like.
I don't know. She's pretty honest. I don't know. I mean, it is kind of sad. It's like you go to a restaurant and then you're both disconnected. But it's like, if we're in an interview, I am hoping that this person is paying attention to me. But they could be taking notes, could be an emergency. Yeah. I would at least inquire.
Right.
And if they're like... I'm using ChatGPT to answer your questions.
First of all,
okay, it's kind of interesting.
I'm hiring that person on the spot.
They've got a little insert in their ear that you can't see. And
Maybe I'd just say, well, show me your prompt. Maybe we'll evaluate your prompt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to understand.
That would work for me.
That would work for me, too.
That would work for me.
I want to know that you can use the tools of the future now.
Yeah. I agree. That should be a part of most assessments.
Yeah.
That I agree with. It's just the texting. If it's not an emergency,
again, you keep going to texting. It's not about texting. It's about them using a device while you're doing.
It's divided attention for me.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yes.
Right. Because you can't see what they're doing on their
phone. No, but I'm just saying in theory, like if you ask them, like if they're doing something with the phone, with the device that's relevant to the job.
Right. Yeah, that's a different. Yeah.
But if they're just texting their boy because they're going out later.
Okay. Hey, I've got one for you. If you talk to someone who is that demographic, flip the question and say, hey, you're in the middle of an interview and the hiring manager is asking you questions, and then they just pick up their phone. You can't tell what they're doing, but they start doing some things in their phone. They're not looking at you anymore.
Yeah.
I just say, how do you respond? I'd be curious to know what the other side of that perception.
Candidate experience.
I ignore it. I'd be curious.